trial. So I'm going to talk about cancer here in a second. And as through cancer and other things, I've learned this about trial. And when the circumstances of life don't seem to go my way, I ask myself, where am I going? God is playing defense for us all the time. Got my buddy Scotty Campbell here today. Scotty, thank you for coming. And I want Scott to know, I want him to know, that's a whole bunch of stuff that God's playing defense for, and he's not letting it get through to him. But there's some stuff that God's allowing to get through to him. And he's giving that let get through to him because he's shaping Scott. He's using unfortunate consequences. He's using trial to help shape his son Scott to become the preferred version of his son Jesus. And too often we look at trial this way. I can't take credit for this yet. I will give credit to Brian Pruitt. Next time you hear me speak, I'm going to say, in my quiet time with the Lord, I wrote this down. I came up with this. But Brian said, Scott, it's like this. When you look at trial, you're a seed. Are you being buried or are you being planted? Same seed, same soil, same depth, same pressure, same stressors. How do you look at trial? This makes a bunch of sense to me because one dies and never germinates, and you never get anything out of the trial. The other one, man, bears fruit, doesn't it? One watermelon seed, 600 to 800 seeds. Are you kidding me? How do you view trial? Are you being buried? Are you being planted? Are you asking, Lord God, what am I supposed to learn here? Because you would have not let this get to me. So what's in it that I need to learn at this time? September 14th, 2012, 3:20 in the afternoon. You know, there's moments where time stops and it just is embedded in your head. This is my phone call. Hey, Scott, got the test results. You have cancer. Now, there's a bigger story than that. I didn't understand what malignant meant, and so there was this back and forth. I told my Belgian friend, the dude said it was something in centimeters. I'm like, I can't do centimeters. You know what my friend Steven says? Everything that's important is in metric. I'm like, you are no help. But anyways, no help. But I would learn I have cancer. Cancer on the inside. This is after a good run. I've been doing his barn stuff. I'm growing. And at 50, this is the call I get. May of that year, I'm with a friend, Justin Moxley. Our conversation in his basement was, Scott, you got to get busy. You're not being bold enough. You got to get busy. This 10-year run's been a warm-up. It's time for you to get busy. My message at the revival was, is the kingdom better because I'm here? I get a phone call. I got cancer. The next morning, I talk to Justin. Here's what he says. You don't know how much time you have. It's just been confirmed 3 times. I told you to get busy. You spoke about the revival. 3rd time you got cancer. It's time to get busy. It reminds me of Peter. Do you love me? Yes. Feed my sheep. Do you love me? Follow me. I'm like, that's 3 times. I got to get busy. So I had cancer. And so I spent the next 3 months writing. I write a lot. God speaks to me through my pen. I journal a lot. So that's kidney cancer. Believe it or not, on your left side, that's a healthy kidney. That looks like a shellfish to me, but that's a healthy kidney. On the right side is an unhealthy kidney. So I had a tumor that was carrying 40% of my kidney. Kidney cancer is a high death rate cancer because you find it by mistake or it's metastasized. The superhighway called the blood system that brings life to your body, cancer jumps on it and says, let's go take this person out. Okay? So that's what I had. So I started writing. So I write with yellow dogs. They're just yellow piece of paper and I write. These are some of the entries I made in my journal as I'm recovering. I wrote, don't cheat pain. I'm a high-performance athletic machine at 63. As an athlete, we know that the gift is on the other end of suffering, isn't it? It's on the other end of pain. It's on the other end of suffering. You persevere through pain. I'll show you a couple scriptures. You persevere. You cannot cheat it. If you quit it, you won't get the lesson. Don't cheat pain. Let it complete its work in you. I wrote down, I remember writing this down. Greg Kelly and Ackerman, I think we had like Jesus up here, and I just pictured Jesus up here going, dude, if you could just look at your life from where I'm seeing, man, there's just so much more for you. So much more from you. Try and look at you from his perspective. Try and look at Jesus from his perspective. not wherever you're stuck. I wrote down, his heart's not breaking. I said, his heart's not breaking over a physical kidney cancer, because don't we go to him in trial? A lot. Then I wrote this, his heart's breaking because of the cancers I'd invited into my life, not a physical cancer. And those were revealed through my next thing I wrote. What if Jesus took a CAT scan of my soul? What would he find? And I already knew. I knew what he would find. I was bitter. I'd been betrayed a couple times. It hurt. I was bitter. I was resentful. I hadn't completely given. I spoke the words, but I hadn't really forgiven some stuff. I had regret over being divorced. I looked at the lives of my 2 children post-divorce, the lives of my 2 children pre-divorce, and I felt I still was carrying this thing of I let them down. Unnecessary guilt. So that's inside me. And what Jesus was telling me is, dude, you got to deal with this stuff, because if you keep looking backwards, I can't use you going forward. And I need you to see what we can do together if you're up here. So, dude, let's get going. And so I wrote. And I kept defining. I started out defining things as cancers in my life. We talked about that. What's the condition of my soul? I started studying my soul. John Ortberg has a book called Soul Keeping. I study my soul the first quarter of every year. It's a gut check for me. So why do I choose to find comfort in invited cancers over Jesus? Where do you go when life doesn't go your way? You go to the mall? You eat ice cream? You eat licorice? Diet Coke? Where do you go? Where do you go? Why did it take me 50 years? Man, I have some young people who have been invited in my life, and one of the things I share with them is don't wait as long as I did. Don't wait. The reframing project's a little easier when you you poured the foundation or you built the wall. Don't wait. Don't wait. And then I wrote this down. Kidney cancer will never kill me. God had that when he sent me a kidney stone. We found it early. But what was killing me was regret, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness. That was killing me. And so I wrote. And then I wrote this. Time to get busy. That was at 50. How do you face trial?